Good afternoon, everybody. Today, we will be playing Tron yet again. I dropped Jegantha. I keep saying that one wrong. Because it was way worse. I had misread it. It's not worth it to pay 3 mana to draw a 5/5 and then play 5 mana to play a 5/5 when it doesn't help you cast your big spells because it can't be paid for generic mana costs. And it's not worth losing Walking Ballista out of the main. However, I'm still going to try without Walking Ballista in the main. In that slot, I'm currently playing a Relic of Progenitus. I cut the All Is Dust. And All Is Dust is not a bad card, not at all. I'm testing out some stuff without it, because I got by fine without it for a long time. So we're going to see how much we wish we had it. Instead, I have a Relic of Progenitus back in the main. And in Jegantha's slot in the sideboard, I added another Veil of Summer, and yeah, let's see how we do. Yeah, so I think I was a little bit harsh on the Grixis deck that I was playing yesterday. I got pretty tilted and was kind of overly critical, and I'm confident that someone who is a better pilot with more practice with that particular list could do better than I could. It's a style of deck that I'm not used to playing, without the regular control tools that I'm used to. So the threat evaluation and everything that you have to do is very different. And I think it's a list that you have to kind of figure out a point where you're going to like change your strategy from like control to like, all right, we have to end the game with our burn and stuff now. And that's not something I'm used to doing. And so I really think I did that deck an injustice, but alright, round one, Green Tron, let's go. Nope. This is significantly better. If we draw a Tron land, we're on track for turn 3 Tron. We can't bank on that, though. I think this hand is probably good enough just to play around with here. We do have Ancient Stirrings as backup. I could go to 5. Let's go to 5. Alright, this hand of 5 was way worse. We're going to 4. Should have kept the 6. Alright, 4. Perfect. Turn 3 Tron into Karn. Perfect. Man, I don't know what I was thinking. Keeping 6. It's just mulligan to Tron. It's how you win. Oh, man. Sometimes I feel like this isn't okay. Alright, we'll keep Whipback Sphere, Ugin, and Scrying. Start Power Plant map. Pass the turn. It's Eldrazi Mud. So I call this list Eldrazi Mud and not Eldrazi Tron because what it does... Getting Urza's mine. What this particular Eldrazi deck does is try to power out things like Chalice, Thorn, or Trinisphere on like turn 1. Okay, opponent hits us for 3, that's fine. They pass, we draw. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Play Karn. I'm going to wish for Ensnaring Bridge. And hopefully that will hold our opponent off just long enough for us to do something else. So they can animate and attack with Mutavault next turn. But theoretically, we're just going to take over the game with our Planeswalkers. I don't know if they have any answers to an onboard artifact like Ensnaring Bridge. In the main deck, anyway. I guess it's possible. Okay, second Eldrazi Temple. Yep, Eldrazi Mimic. That's the other, like, good turn 1 play they want to have. So they hit Karn down to 1, that's fine. We untap. We draw Tower. Play Tower. Play Ulamog. Nuke both temples. Game's over. Nice. Okay. So, opponent is on Eldrazi Mud or Eldrazi Stompy, I guess, because they have Mimic. Let me see if there's a list for the deck that my opponent's playing that finished good recently. Let's see. There's an Eldrazi Tron list running Eldrazi Mimic, but it does not have Spirit Guide. Okay, here's a similar list. This one's not running Mimic. Alright, well, I think because they're playing some of the lower power Eldrazi, we might actually want Spatial Contortion. Veil of Summer doesn't do anything. Weather the Storm might be okay, and Wilt. I'm actually going to bring in a Wilt. We're going to drop Relic, and we're going to drop, I think, an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Spirit Dragon not actually being like an exile board wipe here really sucks. In fact, probably should just cut the other Ugin for a Wilt, but I don't want to cut too many bombs out of the list. Alright, well, this is a turn 3 Tron. It's a little bit worse if my opponent turn 1 Chalice here. Okay, so my opponent just Serum Powdered their initial hand away. They just Serum Powdered their second hand away. I am going to keep. So, if you're playing the Eldrazi Mud list that's running the Eldrazi you can cast from exile, that's generally why you want to be Serum Powdering. You want to exile that card in particular. If you're not exiling that and you're exiling some of your better cards, like, I don't know, 3 of your Thought-Knot Seers, just as an example, you're probably going to end up having a pretty bad time. So we'll start Power Plant Star, pass the turn. Okay, opponent has a second Eldrazi Mimic. Okay, opponent plays a Blast Zone, exiles a Spirit Guide. They play Chalice on 1, but now it's too late. So, unless they drew Spirit Guide or they drew Chalice on their first draw step, if you're playing this variant of Eldrazi, and you have the option to, okay, we're going to Sylvan's. I cracked for red. Why on earth did I do that? Because I was talking and I was looking at Simian Spirit Guide. Well, luckily we drew mine, so all is fine and dandy. No problems here. No problems here. Okay, well, we're still going to get to what we were intending to do. However, our follow-up is way worse because I did not tutor. I should have tutored for an extra tower so we could cast this Ulamog. Draw an Ancient Stirrings, so Players is mine. Play Karn. Wish with Karn. And we're going to get Ensnaring Bridge again. Play Ensnaring Bridge. Pass the turn. This prevents our opponent from playing... Actually, this doesn't do anything. Opponent's going to tick up Blast Zone. That's fine. We're looking to basically just dump our hand into this Chalice. Oh, man. Oh, that was a huge punt. I hope we still win. I got saved by sheer luck is the only reason I'm still in this game right now. So opponent does draw a third land to be able to activate Blast Zone. They animate Mutavault. Attack Karn, attacks us. Okay. Karn down. We untap. Draw map. Play Karn, Great Creator. Uptick to kill Chalice. Play map. Crack map for a tower. Play tower. Play star. Crack for green. Play sphere. Crack for green. Ancient Stirrings. And guess we'll get an O-Stone. Rest to the bottom. So I have not shut off... Actually, if my opponent plays Reality Smasher, we die on the spot because I picked up something off of that Ancient Stirrings and I should not have done that. That's another punt. I got a little greedy. I should have actually just played the stars, cracked one of them, and Ancient Stirrings. Luckily for us, my opponent doesn't really have anything that interacts with what we're doing right this second. So we untap, we draw a Chromatic Sphere, play Forest, play Sphere, cast Ulamog. We'll nuke the Blast Zone and the Mutavault. Alright. Cool. After that, we could have played and cracked, what do you call it? O-Stone. Keeping around Ulamog and attacking, and or we could have cast a second Ulamog if we wanted to and nuked everything else. But, alright. We got lucky. Had I played correctly, we were going to win. Like, had I actually cracked for the right color of mana and Sylvan Scrying for the right land, we would have won. And we would have won harder than we would have, but we got lucky. So I'm okay with that, because it's what should have happened, just not how it should have happened. Alright, let's mulligan. This hand's not terrible, especially on the draw. I think we can do better on 5, though. This is somewhat reasonable. We do have a redraw. We have a Blast Zone in case it's a quick deck. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back Blast Zone and Ulamog, actually. So I'm keeping the forest just in case we crack Chromatic Star on turn 2, and we don't hit a Sylvan Scrying or an Ancient Stirrings, and then we draw one later. We might need the forest to actually be able to activate it. Please don't be Ponza. Nope, it's Dredge. Okay, so Sylvan Scrying, just as we drew it up. Play Power Plant and Star. And remember, if you think these top decks are gross, Tron is a deck that is built to be incredibly resilient, consistent, and top deck all the time. Because, like, from the hand that I kept, top decking Tower is fantastic, top decking Scrying is fantastic, top decking Ancient Stirrings is fantastic, top decking Map is okay. Like, and even top decking a 4th land and just playing a Karn on 4 is fine. So that only narrows it down to, I don't know, 70% of our deck is a good top deck from this position to get us to where we need to go. So anybody who's like, oh, you got really lucky. Yeah, I mean, we top decked the second best option, but that's still an 8 out of 50 chance when we had a 30 out of 50 chance of drawing something good. All right, so opponent casts a Loam. We untap. We draw Mr. Karn Liberated, play a Mine, crack for green, draw a Star, Sylvan Scrying, get a Tower, pass the turn. I'm kind of glad we put Relic in the side here. We do have a Grafdigger's Cage, which is nice. But depending on what our opponent plays here, we're probably just better off playing a big old Karn Liberated. Actually, at this point, I think it's Wish for Grafdigger's Cage. Never mind. Okay. So we might have to get Ensnaring Bridge, because my opponent is getting back all of their creatures this turn. Opponent plays a Thug. Okay, the Thug actually makes it a little bit worse to get Bridge, because my opponent will be able to attack with all the 1/1s. Okay, we draw a map, play Tower, play Karn, Wish. Is there anything that's better for us to wish here? I don't think so. I think we get Cage, and we try and make them play fairly from here on out. No, it's Bridge. Play Bridge. We're going to take one big hit, which will put us in the danger zone from Creeping Chills and Conflagrate, but they only have one turn to really attack. And I mean, worst comes to worst, we could start setting up Karn to restart the game. Okay, opponent Loams. Cycles a Forgotten Cave, dredges Loam. Cracks Wooded Foothills. Gets a Steam Vents untapped. Cycles Forgotten Cave, dredges Dakmore Salvage. Attacks us, attacks us, attacks us. Kills Karn, and hits us. So we're going to 11. Okay. The only thing that would be better than playing Karn and a artifact this turn is if we draw Ugin, I think. Okay, we draw an Expedition map. Play a Forest. Play Karn. Play Map. So their 3-power guys can no longer attack. If we attack their mana, Karn dies. We'd have to exile one of their 1/1 creatures. Yeah, I kind of like upticking Karn. Next turn, they can't attack, and we just have to survive them setting up for like a big Conflagrate. Okay, we exile a Narcomoeba. Opponent dredges Imp, throws a lot of life from the Loams into the grave. Hey, what are you eating? Okay, opponent Loams. Cycle Forgotten Cave. This is a pretty good engine that they've got going on here. Makes me want to play Loampox. Maybe that's what I should do for next Meta Magic. Okay, opponent hits a Creeping Chill. They only have 16 cards left in their deck, but they're going to find what they need very soon. Okay, opponent plays a Wooded Foothills and passes. Attacks us for 3. We're going to go to 5. And we are on a very short clock because our opponent will be able to dredge the rest of their deck and hit the 2 Creeping Chills that presumably are left. So the question now is, do we crack Expedition Map before drawing to see what we hit? No. Yeah, actually I think we do. We're going to go ahead and get another Tower. We draw another Karn. Play a Tower. With as much mana as they have, I don't think we can do anything. So start with a sphere. Crack it for green. Play sphere. Crack it for green. Oh, we're 1 mana short? Oh. Uptick on ourself. That sucks. Doesn't really matter what we exile. We'll just exile Karn. If my opponent somehow miraculously does not have us dead, which they should, because they have roughly... I think they can just dredge the rest of their deck, actually. And they only need to hit 1 Creeping Chill. Yeah, okay. First dredge, they hit 2. So, nothing we had changed that, really. I kind of like Weather the Storm versus our opponent's deck. It just helps versus the aggressive starts. I'll bring in a Spatial Contortion. I'm going to go down in Ulamog. It is good. It's just a little slow. I'm going to drop an O-Stone. Maybe I don't need... I'll run 1 Spatial Contortion, 1 Weather the Storm. We'll run it like this. Weather the Storm is kind of questionable, because our opponent doesn't really cast a lot of spells, but we could have a turn where we assemble Tron and then play like 4 spheres, and that would give us like 2 extra turns versus our dredge opponent. So we do gotta watch, because they are going to have Artifact Destruction. Alright, we'll keep. We have to be slightly wary of Hand Hate here, but we're going to start Expedition Map, because we'd like to use our eventual green mana on this Ancient Stirrings. So start Mind Map. This is also relatively safe because they have to spend their first turn destroying a map instead of setting up for their dredge. Okay. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Play Tower. Get Power Plant. Pass the turn. Opponent probably haggles here. They cycle Forgotten Cave. Okay, that is a bit worse than haggle. Opponent plays a Stomping Ground. And loams back Forgotten Cave. Okay. We'd like to draw a bomb to play off of Tron. Maze Mind Tome. Not exactly what we asked for. So play Power Plant, Tron assembled. We're going to have 10 mana next turn. So start with a Maze Mind Tome. Draw an extra card. Another Maze Mind Tome. I think we're just going to play another Maze Mind Tome and scry. Ancient Stirrings to the bottom. I'm not going to play out Chromatic Star. Because I don't want them to destroy it. It is our only green mana source for the time being. Next turn, we can scry a whole bunch and dig super deep with Ancient Stirrings, and we should be able to find something that will basically kill our opponent. Opponent dredges Loam, gets a Thug and a Stinkweed Imp into the grave. Okay, they're going to Ancient Grudge, a Maze Mind Tome. That's fine. Question is, are they going to do the other one too? They are. Wow. Alright. So those were apparently really threatening to our opponent. We draw Sylvan Scrying, so play Star. Crack Star for green. Ancient Stirrings. We get an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Rest of the bottom, play Tower. And that's why I didn't play the other star to dig first, because Ugin was definitely a possibility there. Opponent is going to have a bit of a rough time against our Ugin. Short of a big Loam and Conflagrate, or unless they have an Assassin's Trophy, which most dredge decks don't run Assassin's Trophy. They'll run things like Nature's Claim and Ancient Grudge for their artifact removal instead of actual straight permanent removal, but I have heard of dredge lists running Assassin's Trophy. So short of a huge Conflagrate, there's nothing they can really do against this Ugin. Opponent has not had very good dredges thus far. Cycle Forgotten Cave. The dredged Thug. Okay. We untap. We draw Thragtusk. So start Sphere. Crack Sphere for green. Draw Forest. Play Thragtusk. Gain life. Play a Forest. Sylvan Scrying. We'll get a Sanctum of Ugin. Uptick, shoot our opponent again. And pass the turn. I have an Ugin that's about to ult. That's generally pretty good. It's a sign that things are going your way. Okay, opponent dredges into a Creeping Chill. They do find an Ox this time around. My opponent has 8 cards in hand currently. Sorry, I looked away for a second and didn't see what my opponent did. I just heard scary Moto activation noises. I think they're playing an Ox here after fetching a land. Okay. They play an Ox, they get back an Amalgam, they dredge a good portion of their deck. They did find some Conflagrates. Okay. Opponent gets back all 3 Amalgams, I think, and a Silver Smote Ghoul. Okay, we untap. Okay, so exiling the whole board, definitely the play, right? How much mana do we have? 10, 11, 12? Oof. You know, exiling the board, definitely the play. But where's the fun in that? You know, where's the fun in not wishing for a Sundering Titan and ulting Ugin? If I die to this, I absolutely deserve it. Cool. So we'll hit their Stomping Ground and their Forest. Crack for green, draw a card. Crack for green, draw a card. Another Great Creator. I mean, I could wish for Walking Ballista, but I think it's better to just Ancient Stirrings and see what we hit. Another Great Creator, an O-Stone. Played a land this turn. Guess I'll take O-Stone. Not a bad backup plan to have a blow up the world button. Ancient Stirrings again. Ooh, Karn Liberated. Play Karn Liberated, rest to the bottom any order. Or take Karn Liberated, I mean. Yeah, let's just play the big Karn. I will sack Sanctum and we'll tutor up our Ulamog. Karn resolves. Down tick Karn on their mountain. We are at 29 life, so I guess I shouldn't be complaining. Like I said, though, exiling the board, way better option than what I just did. And if I lose, I deserve it. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun. Okay, opponent dredges. Sacks Gemstone Mine for green. Kills Sundering Titan. We lose a forest. So they're attacking in such a way that all of our walkers will die. I mean, I think I'm okay with that. We're not going to block. Just take our beats. Untap. We draw Karn Liberated. Play a Blast Zone. Go to combat. Attack for 5. How much mana do we have now? Play O-Stone. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So we were going to activate O-Stone, play Karn, and wish for Grafdigger's Cage. Not the optimum way to win that, but it was fun, for sure. And that's what Magic's about. It's about making sure you have fun. It's about making sure you have fun, because fun is a zero-sum game. And if your opponent's having fun, that means you're not. Just remember that. Spoken like a guy that plays Tron and land destruction frequently. I apologize. Okay. We have Contortion, we have Star, we have Maze Mine Tome, and only 1 Tron land. If this was 2 Tron lands, I would keep this hand. But it is not 2 Tron lands, so I'm going to mulligan. Those are all of the wrong Tron lands. Going to 5. Going to 4. Big oof. Okay, we'll keep the back Ancient Stirrings, Thragtusk, Karn. Going to 3, short of just having Tron as our 3 cards. It's not likely we get a hand that's better than this. A Forest is good. Forest gives us a backup plan if this Chromatic Star fails. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent cracks Wooded Foothills. Gets a Stomping Ground untapped. And haggles. Discarding a Wooded Foothills. Okay. Unless they dredged a Shenanigans, I guess. I don't keep the game log open, so I don't know. They did dredge a Shenanigans. So they Creeping Chill us. And they'll get back a Silver Smote Ghoul. The Fiend. Okay, we untap. We draw a Star. Crack Star for green. Get a Sphere. Okay, Ancient Stirrings. We're going to try and hit a Tron land here. We did not hit a Tron land, unfortunately. So, I think Karn Great Creator is our best pick here. Play a Forest. Play a Star. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Shriekhorn. Mills themselves, milling a cathartic reunion and a stomping ground. They go to combat and they attack for 3. I think my opponent is looking for a loam, but really any dredge, probably. Okay, they play a Steam Vents. Untapped. We untap. We draw Power Plant. Perfect. Play Power Plant. Crack Star for green. Get a Karn liberated. Play a Sphere. Crack Sphere for green. Sylvan Scrying, and we'll get mine. Alright. Tron assembled. Opponent untaps. Mills themselves. They do mill a Golgari Thug. So they dredge Thug. Getting a Silver Smote Ghoul, Merchant, Cathartic Reunion, and Blood Crypt into the grave. They go to combat. Attack us for 3, down to 11. They casting their Merchant? They are. Okay. We untap. We draw a Power Plant. So, play an Urza's Mine. I think our best play is Lip Karn, down tick on Ghoul, and play Sphere. Our opponent almost certainly has Artifact Destruction, which is why we're not playing out Karn Great Creator here, because whatever we would wish for would likely just get obliterated. The fact that their dredge hand was like this, well, they have Shenanigans. We know they're holding Shenanigans. So, it's not even really a question of, oh, do they have one of their, like, 5 artifact destroying spells? It's no, they're holding the dredge one. So, opponent attacks us down to 6. And they get back a Silver Smote Ghoul at the end step. So we need to find a way to gain some life. We draw a map. Crack. Star for green. Play Karn, Great Creator. Anything we wish for immediately gets destroyed. So our best bet is probably Walking Ballista, because we could at least fog their creatures for a turn. I'd like a Worm Coil, we just don't have any. So uptick Karn on our opponent. We're probably going to lose to direct damage, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, play Power Plant. Wish. And we'll get Walking Ballista. Kinda wish I had a Worm Coil. Like, pretty bad. Play Ballista on 3. Pass the turn. And if our opponent gets a lucky dredge, it's just game. They did not activate Merchant at our end step. Okay, opponent goes to combat. Attacks us, attacks us. So block the Merchant. Ping this guy. And then ping our opponent twice, I guess. Okay, opponent goes to second main. Conflagrates us for 1. Okay, draw an Ancient Stirrings. So we should probably start with Ancient Stirrings. We do find an Ugin. I will take the Ugin. Our best play here, though, is to wish for Sundering Titan, because we can literally destroy all of their lands. Downtick on Merchant. Play a Power Plant. Sundering Titan. Take out a mountain, island, and forest. Play an Expedition map. Crack it and get Sanctum. Pass the turn. I'm pretty sure my opponent cannot kill me with 1 mana. Unless, of course, they have a red source, they haggle like a Stinkweed Imp, and they hit 2 Creeping Chills. I think that'd be it. We draw Sylvan Scrying. So play Sanctum. Play Ugin. Sack Sanctum. Get a Worm Coil. Scrying. Good tower. Uptick Karn on my opponent. Uptick Karn. And I guess uptick Ugin. So my opponent cannot kill me with a Conflagrate next turn, because they would have to play a land out of hand, which would only give them 4 cards to discard to Conflagrate. We are super close to being dead, though. And next turn, we're probably cashing in Karn Great Creator to... I guess next turn they're dead if they can't kill us now, so... They play Bloodstained Mire, they fetch with Bloodstained Mire, and they get a Mounted. They can Conflagrate us for 4, but we're going to 1 if they do that. And they are currently dead on board. Okay, they Conflagrate ditching their hand, which was Ox, Shenanigans, Ancient Grudge, Golgari Thug, and they concede. Alright, so despite the suboptimal play, we are still 2-0 going into round 3. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, round 3, here we go. We will be on the draw for round 3. Almost. We'll mulligan. Let's go to 5. Alright, I'm going to try keeping this. 4 could still technically be better, but if we can get this Ancient Stirrings off, we'll be fine. Alright, we'll be fine pretty much regardless. Pass the turn. Looks like our opponent might be Dredge again. That's Obosh, so it's actually mono-red. Okay, so this is going to be a different type of matchup than what we're used to thus far in this league. When it hits us for 5, we untap. Draw Wormcoil Engine, which is an excellent payoff. I was actually just about to start saying that I regret putting back Wormcoil Engine just a little bit, but there's no way to have known. So next turn, we're playing a Wormcoil Engine. Never mind, our opponent is playing Blood Moon. They hit us for 2. Okay. Play Relic of Progenitus, eat a card out of their grave, play a Maze Mind Tome. The reason we're doing this and not playing O-Stone this turn is we need to scry into 2 more lands. I guess I could have kept that star because it gave us a redraw as well as gave us mana for Ancient Stirrings. It is frustrating that my mono-red opponents always seem to have Blood Moon like right on curve when they need it the most. Okay, we get a map. How do I want to do this? So I did make a slight error. I needed to scry before drawing. So let's see if we can hit a land here. Maze Mind Tome to the bottom. Exile the Graves. We need to draw a land. We did not. Okay. Yeah, that was a mistake. I think now we die before we can actually play out this O-Stone, which sucks. That was a missequence by me, though. Yeah. Alright. My bad. So, Weather the Storm's in, Wilt in, Spatial Contortion in, Ulamog out. Relic is not as good here. And I actually think I'm going to cut a Karn. And 1 O-Stone. O-Stone is important because our opponent is playing Blood Moon. But we also brought in Wilt, so hopefully that will make a difference. We'll be on the play this time. Alright, we'll play first. Nope, get a mulligan. Well, this is 2 green sources. I could put back Scrying. I actually think I'm going to keep this. It's going to be a little bit of a weird hand, but I'm going to rely on Spatial Contortion and Weather the Storm to get the job done. Okay, we Ancient Stirrings. I think we take a star. Want to set up for a better Weather the Storm turn, if possible. Next turn, we're Spatial Contortioning whatever their 1-drop is. Because if they play Blood Moon, we're never resolving Spatial Contortion. Play Power Plant, kill Monastery Swiftspear. When it plays a Forgotten Cave, we untap, draw Karn Liberated, play a Forest, play a Star, pass the turn. Okay. I was waiting to see if my opponent bolted. If they don't play Blood Moon here, they'll play multiple spells, and that's what we're waiting for Weather the Storm. Opponent just hard casts a Bone Crusher Giant. Alright, well, let's cantrip. Okay, Karn, Great Creator. We untap and draw Tower. Play Tower. So what can we wish for that matters? We can wish for O-Stone. Yeah, I think we gotta wish for... Well... Yeah, we're gonna give them something else to attack other than our face. Go ahead and wish. And... get O-Stone. Pass the turn. If my opponent plays like 4 spells this turn, I'm gonna feel a little bit silly, but... Trinisphere was also a reasonable get. If they were stuck on 2 mana, I would have, but... My opponent attacks Karn. That's fine. Play Soulscar Mage, they play a Blast Zone and another Bone Crusher Giant. Perfect. So we hit Tron, play O-Stone. Yeah, I think we just... well... yeah, we're just gonna crack it now. It's technically correct to wait, because they could have haste creatures and such. But... okay, opponent bolts us, probably for their dig spell. They get a Pillage and a Blast Zone. Thankfully that Blast Zone is not another red mana. Put Obosh in their hand. We untap, we draw Wormcoil Engine, play Power Plant. Play Karn. We are going to exile, I guess, a red mana. We could Weather the Storm now. I guess we should. Okay, up to 22. Pass the turn. I think opponent has to cast Pillage here, which means they're probably not casting Lightning Bolt or anything like that. Yeah, okay. They pillage the mine. They play a 3rd Blast Zone. It's a little awkward for them. We draw a Blast Zone. Uptick on our opponent's hand. They're kind of running out of cards at this point. If they play Obosh, we just exile him too, which is awesome. They give us Obosh, okay? Play Wormcoil Engine. And I think we have stabilized. Opponent plays a Blood Moon, but Blood Moon doesn't matter at this point. And Seasoned Pyromancer to draw some cards. We untap. We draw Urza's Mine. Uptick on our opponent. Just stopping them from playing cards is really the way to go. They lose a Lightning Bolt. Play a Mountain. Attack with Wormcoil. And I think at this point we're gaining too much life and have a Planeswalker who's way too powerful for our opponent to really do anything. Opponent plays a Bombat Courier. They attack Karn for 1. So Karn down to 10. We untap, we draw Sylvan Scrying. I guess we might as well to get a Forest out of our deck. Play Forest. Downtick on Seasoned Pyromancer. Attack our opponent for 6, we go up to 34. Okay, opponent cycles a Forgotten Cave. 2nd Bombat Courier. Both at Karn. We untap. We draw a map. Go to combat. Attack our opponent down to 2. You know what? We'll uptick on ourselves. Get rid of the map. So we're sitting at double our initial life total with a Planeswalker with 9 counters on it. Our opponent is dead to a single attack. We could top deck an 8-mana Lightning Bolt and kill them, which would be pretty funny. Opponent shoots Karn and passes. We draw Forest. Downtick on this Bombat Courier. Make them cash it in. Okay, go to combat. Attack for 6. Opponent cycles Forgotten Cave. So this will likely make our opponent block and cash in their other courier. Nope, they want the cards they've got in hand. Play a Forest, pass the turn. Opponent plays a land, plays a Swift Spear. Pyromancer draws 2 more cards. Bolts our face. Interesting. Lights up the stage. Draw Pillage and a Mountain. They can attack and kill Karn. It's fine. Karn down. We draw an irrelevant land. Go to combat. Attack for 6. Yeah, we're basically just waiting until we draw Ugin, and then this game is over. Because our opponent, I don't think, can just beat us gaining 6 life for so many turns in a row. It's possible they could with, like, Obosh if they set up a huge board, and then played Obosh and swung. But Obosh is dead. Exiled, actually. So it's not like they really have anything they can do. They pillage Wormcoil Engine. Pretty sure that just guarantees lethal. No, I guess they can Seasoned Pyromancer get tokens. Draw an Urza's Mine, play an Urza's Mine, go to combat. Well, we're not going to stop attacking. When it makes 2 elementals. Chumps and chumps, we gain 3. Pass the turn. We are over 50 life. Time to Manamorphose into that Felidar Sovereign. Okay. Do we want to make any adjustments? I don't think so. Run it back. Alright, we're going to mulligan. We're going to mulligan one more time. Alright, we're going to keep 5. We're going to put back Scrying and Map. And we're kind of banking on this Star and Stirrings, but don't really have another choice. Opponent did not mulligan. They kept 7. They start Swift Spear, which is kind of bad for us. We draw Blast Zone, which is decent if we ever get the mana to get there. Opponent attacks for 1 again. They probably have a Light Up the Stage. I always forget the name of this card. I always want to think it like starts with a D for some reason. We draw a Power Plant. Ancient Stirrings. Spatial Contortion is the only one of these cards we can actually play. But if I take Spatial Contortion, my opponent's going to play a Blood Moon, and we're never going to play it. So I think we take O-Stone. Rest to the bottom, play Power Plant. Make them afraid. Maybe they just cast Blood Moon this turn. Yep. I can't risk us having Tron. We get in for 2. We go to 16. We draw Ugin. So we're going to play Maze Mind Tome this turn and Scry. O-Stone is better next turn, provided we can get up to 5 mana, and we need to use Maze Mind Tome to get there. Okay, opponent plays a Blast Zone. Gets in for 1. We get hit down to 15. They play a Soulscar Mage and put Obosh in their hand. So upkeep, Scry. Forest to the top. Draw Forest, play Blast Zone. Play O-Stone. And now we kind of have to hope they don't have Pillage. Pillage would be really bad because Pillage can hit artifacts. If they don't, we're in an excellent spot. If they do, we're in a bad place. Opponent casts a second Blood Moon. That means no Pillage this turn. They attack for 4. They bolt us. Take a lot. Are we just dead? We go to 1. Draw Sphere. Play a Forest. Scry. Sanctum of Ugin to the bottom. Alright, we have to fade any direct damage for a whole turn, which versus Mono Red Burn is not very helpful. Okay, opponent attacks. Blow up the world. It's a lightning bolt. Like, why not just... Oh, I guess because we had Weather the Storm. That was fair. Oh, you know what? We needed to go with the Chromatic Sphere Weather the Storm route. Because our opponent was tapped out, and I forgot we were running Weather the Storm. I'm not saying that because it was the top card of our deck, but it was technically correct, I think, to try and dig for it. Because the odds that our opponent doesn't have a Lava Dart, Lightning Bolt, Shard Volley, Lava Spike, Stomp, and like any of the other 4 or 5 spells they have that direct damage is basically 0 across 3 cards, even though we knew one of them. So, yeah, I think we probably should have dug and see if we could hit Weather the Storm. I don't know. No, if we had done that and played it, we would be at 7 life. They had 2 attackers, they would have bolted us, and they would have killed us anyway. So I guess it didn't matter. Did not matter. It could have mattered if they had a Lava Dart. No, it wouldn't have. It could have mattered if they had Firebolt, though. Okay. Mulligan. Alright. We got 2 spheres for several redraws, so put back Sanctum of Ugin, and we're going to try it. Not to mention we are on the draw, so we do get 1 extra draw. It's Amulet of Vigor combo, which tends to be a bad matchup for me. Alright, Sylvan Scrying is pretty great. Let's see if a turn 3 Karn is enough to stop what our opponent's doing. Like, the fastest Amulet hands are really good, so... They play a Darasusa, so they've just ramped to 4 mana on turn 2. They replay the Simic Bounce land. They untap it, float mana. Play it again. Alright, 4 mana. Transmute Talaria West. So this is probably transmuting Talaria West to go get a Summoner's Pact. Groll Turf. Oh, that's for the Hanware Garrison play, I think. Players is mine. Crack Star for green. We get a relic. Don't think that matters. Sylvan Scrying will get a tower. Pass the turn. My opponent has 7 mana this turn. They replay the Simic Bounce land. This time bouncing the forest. They play Groll Turf. Untap the turf. Bounce Groll Turf. Prime time. Probably getting Hanware Garrison and a land that taps for red. Valakut and Hanware Garrison. Sure. Get Primetime Haste. They attack for 7. Not sure what lands they get here. Ghost Quarter and Castle Garenbrig. So they just Ghost Quarter us on our draw step and take us off of Tron. Yep. Grazer. For the forest, which they untap. They take us off of our power plant, and that's game. Okay. Gonna bring in Wilt. And Spatial Contortion. Gonna drop O-Stone, Thragtusk, and Wormcoil. Try it like this. Us being on the play helps a lot. We're still not super favored to win this. Can't keep that hand. Alright, Natural Tron with a Wilt along the way I hope is good enough. If it's not, then I don't think I will ever beat my opponent's deck. End statement. So start Chromatic Sphere, pass the turn. Opponent starts Forest into a Grazer. For a Breeding Pool tapped, we untap. Play an Urza's Mine, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Radiant Fountain. Collector Oof. Yeah, crack this for green. Draw another power plant. Opponent plays Oof. And a Soccer Tribe Scout. Was kind of hoping that was an amulet, but go ahead and cycle. We get a map, which is wholly useless to us right now. Untap, we draw a star, play tower. Play Karn. This is only bad because our opponent has enough attack power to kill Karn, and we can't empty our hand. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to wish for Sundering Titan, I guess is our best bet right now. Trinisphere is not bad. We could play Trinisphere immediately, but we could also get Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista doesn't do anything, never mind. Yeah, I'm just going to get Sundering Titan. Play out the 1-drops in our hand. We do kind of need to be close to empty-handed so that if we do happen to draw another Karn, we can wish for Ensnaring Bridge to stop our opponent from attacking. Sundering Titan is kind of useful if they play the Prismatic Omen Dryad of the Elysian Grove creature, because then we just nuke all of their lands. Okay, opponent explores. Okay, opponent plays a Radiant Fountain. Attacks Karn for 3. Karn down. We untap. Draw map. Play tower. Play Sundering Titan. Take out Breeding Pool and Forest. Play another map, just to get it out of the hand. Pass the turn. And now it's just whether or not we top deck bombs before our opponent top decks a way to utterly annihilate us. Summoner's Pact, that's pretty scary, especially considering they only have 1 green source on board. They play Dryad. Vesuva, copying Groll Turf. Well, if we can make Sundering Titan leave the battlefield, our opponent loses. Okay. Just need Sundering Titan to leave the battlefield, which unfortunately does not happen. Go to combat, attack for 7. Opponent probably just chumps with Grazer. Yep. Opponent has to pay most of their mana away. So they are holding Primeval Titan. They play a forest. Okay, we would have really liked for a way to get Sundering Titan to leave the battlefield, but unfortunately that is not the case. And I'm pretty sure that means we just die immediately to Primeval Titan, because we kind of bricked and drew only lands. Because my opponent can pay for Primeval Titan with Valakut, so they can pay for Primeval Titan. They play Valakut, Hanweir Garrison. They attack, they can get like Valakut. Maybe not because they have Gruul Turf, but like we're still dead, I think. I'll F6 through my opponent's turn and we'll see what happens, but I'm pretty sure we're just dead. I guess I could have kept Sundering Titan back on defense, and that might have stopped them from attacking with Primeval Titan, unless the math works out such that we're just dead anyway. Alright, prime time. Even if we had blocked and potentially survived... Oh, that's right, they can't make it attack this turn. So we still technically have a chance. Play Growth Chamber. They can't take us off of Tron even if they pick up Ghost Quarter. They play Gruul Turf. So now the problem is we would have to basically wipe the board. I guess Ugin would do it if we drew an Ugin. Okay, we untap, draw Wormcoil Engine, and we die to our opponent Ghost Quartering himself. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 5. Alright, we've got better 6s, we've got better 5s. Alright, well, I mean, we've got Maze Mind Tome. And if we draw a Sphere or Star, we have Ancient Stirrings. Okay. It is versus Control, it does appear. And we have Natural Tron. Perfect. Just drew it naturally, didn't have to search. Nothing. Okay. Opponent plays a Glacial Fortress. Play Power Plant. Play Maze Mind Tome. Scry. Tower to the bottom. Pass the turn. Opponent has field. Well, they have a 50-50 chance if they activate it now. Okay, they hit the wrong one, which is the first time that's happened out of like 4 times this has occurred. Alright, untap. I'm not going to scry pre-draw, because I'm going to just draw an extra card. Well, Ancient Stirrings. Take a Sphere. Now I'm going to scry. Map to the bottom, play Sphere. Crack it for green. Play Star. Pass the turn. So next turn we can try and run out Karn. Opponent plays a Hallowed Fountain tapped. They almost certainly have an answer for Karn. Scry it or upkeep. Karn, Great Creator, will put on top. Draw Great Creator, play Power Plant. Play Karn Liberated. Hardcast Force, yep. Play Sphere, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Glacial Fortress, passes. We untap. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Play Karn. Opponent opts in response. Attempt to resolve Karn. Karn resolves. Okay, we're gonna wish. I guess we'll just try for Liquid Metal Coating here. Play Coating. Crack Star for green. Crack Star for green. Scrying. Get a backup tower. Pass the turn. Oh, we can play tower, can't we? This is turn 5. Play Relic. And draw an extra card. Another Sylvan Scrying. Okay. Stop on my opponent's upkeep. Turn off a land. Okay, opponent floats white. And concedes. They cannot beat a repeated Stone Rain. So we're going to bring in 3 Veil of Summer, and we're going to drop 3 Wormcoil Engine. Those are our worst cards versus control. I'm going to drop an O-Stone for a Wilt as well, and we're going to run it back. Yeah, let's mulligan. Close. Going to 4. Alright. Put back Thragtusk, Karn, and Stirrings. 4 cards versus control, not where you want to be. Because the way that you kind of have to beat control is by playing enough things that they run out of answers, and then you resolve something huge. Maze Mind Tome will help with this quite a bit, especially because we do have Tron so early. Play Tower. We are just going to go ahead and crack and get mine. Pass the turn. My opponent has a field. This should force them to play it now. Yep. I field this off the tower. Get a forest. Play mine. Play map. Pass the turn. Second field. I'm gonna hit mine, sure. Get another forest. Crack for mine. Alright, pass the turn. We drew mine. I failed you, everybody. We drew the wrong card. Or we tutored for the wrong one. Opponent has a mana leak. Okay, we are officially out of action. But if our opponent wins, no surprise, because we did mulligan to 4. And our opponent had double Field of Ruin. They play an island and pass. We draw Sylvan Scrying. Play O-Stone. Try to bait out a big counter like a Cryptic. Then we can maybe resolve a Sylvan Scrying to get Tower. Okay, but it did not fall for that. Okay, opponent has a Dovin's Veto. Pass the turn. We're starting to get up into the range of mana where we're going to be able to play the things that we top deck. Which, if our opponent goes much longer without playing some way to shut down and win the game, we will win eventually. Okay. Play Blast Zone. Play Maze Mind Tome. Maze Mind Tome resolves. Draw an extra card. Okay. Uggin's nice. It's not the best of our threats versus control, but it's another thing to cast to make them answer. Opponent opts. Opponent passes. Okay. I'm not going to scry pre-combat because I want to be drawing additional cards. Okay, we get a Chromatic Sphere. Play Chromatic Sphere. Crack it for green. Draw a map. Play a map. Get a tower. Play a tower. Pass the turn. I guess we actually should draw here, because we could try and resolve a 4-mana Karn if we were to draw it. So draw an extra card. Opponent Snapcaster Mage. Or an opt. Okay. They opt. Draw a forest. Pass the turn. We do have mana to activate O-Stone, which, if my opponent were to play a third Field of Ruin or otherwise disrupt our Tron mana, I think I would just crack O-Stone to kill Snapcaster. Alright, opponent attacks for 2. That's fine. We would like to draw Veil of Summer. So take 2, we go to 18. Untap. We draw Sylvan Scrying. Alright, draw an extra card. Ulamog. Alright, play a forest. Play Ulamog. Take out 2 of our opponent's lands. They have a counter spell they're going to use. They don't have removal. That's really good. Even though it is cryptic and they have to draw, we still get to exile 2 of their permanents. And it means they have 1 less counter spell in their deck for our non-creature spells. So Ulamog is a little bit risky when you play against control like that, because if they have Path, it means that they're not using a counter spell to answer your Ulamog. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't counter Bounce Snapcaster. I think that would have been a little bit scarier, because like now they would have mana for Snap Cryptic, but like Snap Dovin's Veto would have been good. I guess it just eliminates their clock that they had at the time. Okay, we draw an Ancient Stirrings. So let's go ahead and Ancient Stirrings, because if we hit another Ulamog, that would be fantastic. Another Maze Mine Tome. Yeah, I guess I'll take that. Rest to the bottom, any order. Play Ugin. Make our opponent counter it. They remand Ugin. Okay. So let's draw an extra card. I guess I could have done this first to see if we hit a Veil of Summer. Gain some life. Draw Sanctum of Ugin. Play Sanctum. Sanctum is actually really good here, because Sanctum says that we can go get our other Ulamog and hit our opponent's mana base. Ooh, if our opponent counters Maze Mine Tome, that'll feel good. I think they have to because of how much card advantage we've been gaining. They remand it. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of remand in control decks. In control decks, you want your counter spells to answer things permanently, though I understand the delay is really powerful. Entreat the Angels. I mean, we have an O-Stone, so if they just tap out... like, worst case scenario, we just crack O-Stone. Or we could play Ugin and down tick for 2. They'd have to have Force of Negation to stop Ugin. Alright, no blocks. So they probably have the 1-mana counter colorless spell. Untap. We draw Tower. Tower's excellent. Play Ugin. Sack Sanctum. Get Ulamog. Okay, Mona does have Ceremonious Rejection. So now we blow up all the guys. Sylvan Scrying to get our last power plant so we don't get fielded again. Or to get another power plant, I mean. And play Maze Mine Tome. And Scry. Veil of Summer to the top. Pass the turn. So depending on what we draw off of Maze Mine Tome, I may actually not Veil of Summer if they counter Ulamog. I may save it for protecting a Karn, because Ulamog provides value even if it gets countered. Okay, we untap. We draw Veil. Draw an extra card. Chromatic Star. Play another power plant. Play Ulamog. I'm actually going to nuke 2 basic islands here instead of the Glacial Fortresses, because this prevents my opponent from Mystic Sanctuarying and Treat the Angels on top. Opponent is disallowing the trigger. So it looks like that's exactly what they were going to do. Okay. Ulamog resolves. The Chromatic Star. No reason not to crack it here, I think. So Entreat Mystic Sanctuary seems pretty sweet. Just not gonna lie. Okay, we draw another Urza's Mine. Pass the turn. Lag is getting really bad again. Opponent paths. That's fine. Get our last forest. Opponent only has 2 cards left in hand. Okay, F6 through my opponent's turn. I would not be veiling for pretty much any reason. We untap. Draw a Sphere. Activate Tome. Draw a card. Karn, Great Creator. Players is mine. Play Karn. On a Cryptic commands, we Veil of Summer. Okay, it looks like our opponent has like a mana leak or something else. We draw a power plant. Cryptic command resolves, drawing our opponent a card. Karn resolves. Play Sphere. Crack sphere for green. Another Karn. Okay. Wish. We're going to go ahead and get a Sundering Titan. Play Sundering Titan. Okay. Take out an island and a plains. Oh, I don't know if you wanted to do that, opponent. Okay. Take out almost all of our opponent's lands. And 2 of our own. So take out an island and a plains. And a forest. Done. Okay. Take out a island and a plains and a forest. Done. The problem is they exiled it. So there was a thing I was ranting about yesterday about how Path to Exile is like way better removal than Fatal Push and Bolt and stuff like that. Play a new Karn, keep a new Karn. Well, it's not better in this specific scenario, where we wish for a Sundering Titan again. Take Sundering Titan. Pass the turn. A fat lot of good that Mystic Sanctuary will do you now. Opponent opts. 1 card left in hand. Other than that, they just drew. Okay, opponent untaps. Draws a card for a turn. Not sure what they just played. Flooded Strand. Okay. We draw a Veil of Summer. Alright. What can we get here? Probably just a Liquid Metal Coating at this point. Play Power Plant. You know what? We'll draw with Maze Mind Tome first. Okay. Gain some life. Opponent is in the tank. Okay, we gain some life. We draw Ancient Stirrings. So, Tower, Tower, Mine. Sundering Titan. Okay. Float a green mana. Sundering Titan resolves. Kill Island, kill Forest. Done. Ancient Stirrings. Get an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Okay. Rest of the bottom, any order. Gonna go ahead and wish. Get a... I guess I could get a Trinosphere. But I think Liquid Metal Coating is better. Play Coating. Okay, opponent cracks Flooded Strand. And concedes. They have no lands left to fetch. Alright, well, we 3-2'd, which for a second there I was worried we weren't going to. Let's go ahead and open up our treasure chest, see what we get. We get an Admiral's Order and 10 play points. Alright. Did we learn anything new? Having the relic was nice. Depending on the metagame, that could have been a Walking Ballista or an All Is Dust. All Is Dust is good versus Dredge, but Relic is better. Having the extra cantrip seemed nice. I'm still not missing the Ballista in the main, but if you play with Ballista in the main, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just, personally for me, that's not what's working right now on the current Moto metagame with the decks I'm running into. I would definitely rather have the Relic than the Walking Ballista versus decks like Uro and all of those. Even versus the control decks, it was kind of nice. I don't miss Jegantha or Jegantha. I would never suggest running Jegantha. Not unless you're doing something janky that it really synergizes with. And the third Veil of Summer was very useful. As we saw in the final match versus Control, having multiple Veil of Summers was super, super important. So I'm actually thinking I might go up to 4. Not sure what I would take out for that, but it is very, very good versus counterspell decks. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed making it. And I'm very hungry, so I'm going to try and cut this short. But I think you guys are awesome. I really, really appreciate all the support. We're at 497 subscribers here on YouTube as of right now. 498, only 2 more to 500, which is super, super exciting. I really, really appreciate all the support. You guys are fantastic. If you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. You can follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you find me on here. Big shout out to Eliud Mitzer for subscribing with Prime 2 days ago while I wasn't streaming. Your subscription is appreciated. That's a couple extra dollars in my pocket to keep making magic. And yeah, I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time currently. Hope to see you guys there sometime. Bye!